as you guys know, one of my things that I like to do is we do our character profiles. And with She-Hulk having its trailer just gone and being the only show that we haven't really gone into a lot of depth about because we hadn't really had any proper looks at it, I thought now would be a good time to do a character profile on She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. Jennifer Walters is She-Hulk. She's a talented lawyer, like insanely talented lawyer, better than Matt Murdock as a lawyer, and cousin of Bruce Banner.
Mm-hmm.
As a result of one of her cases where she was helping her client who essentially was being a snitch against the mob, she was like helping get them protected to bring the mob down. She got shot.
Okay.
She needed a blood transfusion to survive, and for some reason, I don't know how, I couldn't seem to work this out, they decided Bruce had to be the one to give her the blood transfusion.
Couldn't. Usually that's because of blood type.
Yeah, but I mean, unless Marvel Comics, which I'm not saying they don't have, like, even more blood types, I mean, they probably had some there. Anyway.
That or it was so serious they needed Hulk's blood. Oh.
So yeah, Bruce had to give his blood to survive, for her to survive. This blood transfusion resulted in her going through a similar change and becoming She-Hulk. Here's the interesting thing. Originally, she also struggled to control the transformations like Bruce does,
Mm-hmm.
and she would Hulk out. But pretty quickly, she found like control over it, and she was able to almost switch at will.
Mm-hmm.
And has like don't get me wrong. Obviously, there are times she loses control, but for the most part, she's in complete control.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is kind of a testament to how like level-headed she is. But it also allows her to be kind of, while being directly linked to the Hulk, very different. It enables her to be very caring and compassionate and funny while fighting the battle. She gets to make little quips like other heroes would that you don't normally get to see from the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was very well done and a good decision to allow her to have control over that ability.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it's a little bit of a nod to the idea that women are in better control of their emotions than men.
Probably right.
Yeah. So as a result of her having control over this transformation, like I said, she was able to retain her intelligence, her humor, and her kind spirit while still being absolutely jacked.
Mm-hmm.
And as well as that, as she's become a hero in her own right, she's worked with the Avengers and other groups. She was also trained by Gamora to the extent of making her an expert in hand-to-hand combat.
Fair.
Yeah, so she's like a threat.
Yeah.
Her raw power isn't as much as the Hulk, and she doesn't seem to have the effect that the Hulk has, where in some continuities, the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets with no upper limit. So her raw power isn't as much, but the fact that she can think while fighting and is able to be trained makes her just as dangerous, or not just as dangerous, but still very dangerous in slightly different ways. And the really interesting thing is, despite working as a superhero, she still works as a lawyer. She fights crimes on both sides. She goes out there and she helps people, and then she comes back and she helps people. She does it all.
Respectable.
And I think a big thing is, which doesn't get discussed as much in Marvel as it does in DC, a lot of heroes just kind of kill in Marvel without it really being thought about too much, other than people like Spider-Man. She-Hulk takes every possible opportunity to not kill.
Okay.
She will do whatever it takes to not kill someone, because she has such a moral rigidness. She does whatever it takes. I'm sure she has killed before, but she does whatever she can to not kill. And as I know I've said it before, but I'm bringing it up again. She does in her comics regularly break the fourth wall, and she was doing it in Marvel comics before Deadpool was. So this is a pre-warning. If during the Marvel show she breaks the fourth wall, and one of you guys think it's going to be a good idea to go, oh, they have to give everyone a Deadpool quirk now, I will light you on fire on Twitter. Do not be a dumbass.
You know there's going to be someone that says, oh, they've just copied the Deadpool thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They're doing it with all characters who are a little bit quirky now. Like with Mr. Knight, who was nothing like Deadpool. They were like, oh, just white Deadpool, innit? It's like, no, it isn't. Like, just engage brain for a third of a second.
Or, counter argument, just ignore them.
No. Heaven forbid, it's the internet. I must argue with everyone until I'm proven right.
Fuck's sake.
I think She-Hulk, and don't get me wrong, let's just be perfectly clear about this opinion. This is coming from a straight, white, cisgendered man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So this isn't a fact, this is just my opinion. If I'm wrong, please tell me. I get the impression that She-Hulk is actually quite a well-written female character. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure in the earlier days, they had some missteps. Yeah. For instance, a particular story involving Star Fox, which I'm not going to talk about because it's fucking ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And be careful searching it because there are some triggers in there. But for the most part, especially more recently, it seems like they actually do a pretty good job of telling stories that are relevant to female readers and make them feel included in the comic space, which I think is fucking important. And I really hope the show manages to do that as well.
I imagine it will. They've done... I feel like with all of their shows, and the easiest one to think of is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like they do a good job of touching on the relevant issues to those characters. So I would imagine that like they do She-Hulk justice, and the show will be good in that sense.
I hope so. I really do. But that's all we've got to say on She-Hulk. I, for one, I'm very excited for this show.
Me too.
I enjoy now that we've kind of got to the heights of Endgame. Everyone was a little bit worried that we were just going to have more and more fantastical stories and we're going to lose them kind of grassroots stories. But the shows like Moon Knight and She-Hulk and Miss Marvel are going to really give us a distinction between the big stuff, which is what's going to happen in the films, and the street level heroes who protect the little guy. And I'm really glad, A, that they made that decision, and B, that they've done such a good job so far.
Oh yeah, they nailed it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that brings us